When you hear about Detroit, Michigan, what comes to mind? Maybe if you're a music lover, you think Motown. Maybe you think about the auto industry that helped build and maintain the local economy for decades. Maybe you think about the lively downtown scene. A lot of new clubs, restaurants, and parks have created a brand new feel in the city. If you're a native Detroiter, maybe you think about the different turns the city is taking, both good and bad. Crime, gangs, scamming, all a part of the fabric that makes up the streets of Detroit. On this video, I plan to show you the good, the bad, and everything in between that makes Detroit, Detroit. We start our journey on St. Antoine and Wilkins at the Brewster Projects. Where these apartments currently stand, used to be a laundromat and cleaners owned and operated by my grandfather. Here's a little bit of history from my father, who was a child at that time playing in the Brewsters while his father handled business.
Down here working the summers, and then we go across the street and play with all the kids over there. I was in the late 60s, 68, 69.
So how long this been here right here, this new building?
I want to say they just completed this within the last year.
Okay. It looks nice.
Yeah. Right there.
Okay, so right here you said...
Right here.
So right here where we're standing used to be my grandfather's cleaners,
Yep.
which is now...
Reed's Clean.
It was called Reed's Cleaners. It's right here. Reed's Cleaners and Laundromat right here where this new building is, and right here by the Brewsters.
Yep.
The Brewsters right behind me, and here we go. A little history. The Brewster Projects and Frederick Douglass Apartments were built between 1935 and 1955. They were designed by Harley, Ellington, and Day of Detroit. The Brewster Projects began construction in 1935 when First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt broke ground for the 701-unit development. The first phase, consisting of low-rise apartment blocks, was completed in 1938. An expansion of the project completed in 1941 brought the total number of housing units to 941. The Frederick Douglass Apartments, built immediately to the south of the Brewster Projects, began construction in 1942. Apartment rows, 2 6-story low-rises, and 6 14-story high-rises were completed between 1952 and 1955. The combined Brewster Douglass projects was 5 city blocks long and 3 city blocks wide, and housed anywhere between 8,000 and 10,000 residents at its peak capacity. This area is historic for many reasons. History buffs know all about the riot. The 1967 Detroit riots, also known as the 12th Street Riot and the Detroit Uprising, was the bloodiest of the urban riots in the United States during the long, hot summer of 1967. Composed mainly of confrontations between Black residents and the Detroit Police Department, it began in the early morning hours of Sunday, July 23, 1967 in Detroit, Michigan. However, if you love Detroit music, hip-hop specifically, then this is the neighborhood that Big Herc, Danny Brown, and Dopehead all represent. This area is known as DLA, the Dexter Linwood area. Joy Road, where the rapper T Grizzly hails from, connects the two major roads together. I lived in this neighborhood before I moved to Arizona. My old hood. We on Taylor Street. I used to kick it on that porch a lot right there. We're on Taylor and 14th right now. This is my old crib. I don't want to show y'all the address because that's weird. Yeah, a lot of memories. My dog used to run a lot right there.
Yeah.
Shout out to OG. I wonder if you still live there. Shout out OG. On the west side, there are plenty of places where history was made. This is the house that soul music legend and pioneer Aretha Franklin grew up in. On April 12, 1964, Malcolm X delivered his The Ballot or the Bullet speech at King Solomon Baptist Church in Detroit, which you can see on camera right now. A ballot is like a bullet, he said, only a few weeks after leaving the Nation of Islam. Moving right along, we have arrived in Southwest Detroit, also known as Mexican Town. Detroit's Mexican population began settling in the Southwest in the 1920s. The Mexican community established itself on Verner Street. The community was originally known as La Bagley. The Holy Redeemer Roman Catholic Church began holding weekly masses in Spanish by 1969. At one point, the Lithuanian Hall building was renamed the Hispanos Unidos Hall. Waves of immigration came in the 1970s and 1980s, adding to the community. In the late 1980s, the neighborhood was christened Mexican Town as a part of public relations campaigns. Now, this neighborhood we're heading to is on the east side of Detroit, between 7 and 8 Mile Road and between Gratiot and Kelly. Fans of the rapper Sada Baby might be more familiar with the hood's name, the Red Zone. Unfortunately, about an hour after I left the block, there was a shootout involving about 20 people and 2 victims passed away. I got the chance to interview one of the OGs of the neighborhood to get his thoughts on how things have changed.
So how long have you lived in the city?
64 years.
64? Are you 64?
64.
Okay, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Been around the world, but I always come back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about, I lived here up until 2012, and then I moved to the West Coast. I live in Phoenix now. So what's the most change that you've seen like in the last 10 years, I'd say?
Changed in 10 years. The gangs that took over.
Yeah?
Yeah. Gangs that took over, police and backed off. That's about it. You can't do no bus stops no more. Okay, if you do, you better have your bus stop time. Okay, you better be on the time.
Okay.
Get on that bus and keep it moving.
Yeah.
You will get jacked in Detroit. Yeah.
Okay.
And the stores changed over. We had Jews at the stores.
Uh-huh.
Now we got all Arabs at the stores.
Okay.
Gas stations.
Okay.
Okay. And they don't get no credit or nothing. No border system. None of that.
Okay. So back in the day in the neighborhood, you used to be able to barter at the stores and all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Border system. And they knew you had a job, so they wait till Friday, you come pay your tax.
Yeah.
You there? No.
Not happening.
Not happening. Cash and carry.
What about so I noticed more on the west side that they've been kind of building in the neighborhoods though. Like they've been doing that on the east side too, or they?
Yeah, housing, everything is
Okay.
housing now.
Yeah.
They tearing down stuff to build up houses.
Okay.
You know, so Detroit can boom again.
Yeah.
You can't have an influx of people coming and have nowhere to put them. Like New York, for instance.
Yeah.
They got people sleeping on the street.
Yeah. That's I haven't really seen too much of that here.
Yeah, because we got housing.
Okay.
We got housing, we got shelter.
So that's a good thing.
Okay, so they building houses now. They back to the housing thing.
Okay.
Okay, and this what's Duggan?
Yeah.
Yeah, the mayor got a plan.
Okay.
You got to house people.
You like what he's doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta house people. That get them off the street.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if it's Section 8, low income, downright shelter.
Giving options.
Yeah, but they're off the streets.
Okay.
Okay, you get off the street, you can come up.
So how do you think they got to address the crime problem then?
Put more police out there.
Yeah.
We got the green light, spotlight, Spotify. If you shoot a gun, they know where it's at. We got all that. But you ain't got the manpower, the physical manpower to be there. You still losing.
Okay.
You still losing. If a brother know he can do a crime and get out and be gone in 25 minutes, you done. You just getting there. What happened? You just getting there. The brother gone. Okay? You got 25 minutes and I-75. So you hit 75 south, you out of here.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
gotta-
fact. So you need more of them boys out there. I got
Yeah,
you.
That's it. That's it. I mean, not to become a police state,
Right.
but you gotta step up.
All right. Appreciate
And
that.
on the other side, we ain't had nobody getting beat up and killed in Detroit either.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So on the other side, they ain't been doing that.
Okay.
But we just need more of them.
Okay.
Serious, we need more of them.
Okay.
If you got a study patrol of police and on feet, put them back on the foot out there, put the bike patrol back out there. They have to be physically present. Then the crime will stop because they know the police gonna catch them.
Appreciate your time, OG. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now, before we leave the hood, our last stop is the Martin Luther King Jr. Apartments, aka the King Homes. Designed by the Metropolitan Detroit Citizens Development Authority, the 481-unit low-rise apartment townhouse complex was constructed in 1969. So now that we've been through the trenches on both the east side and the west side, it's time to go look at some of the beauty within the city. Because despite what people say or think about the D, every time I come back to visit, I see more and more improvement. Let's head downtown. Every kid from Detroit has childhood memories of being on Belle Isle, the tiny island on the Detroit River between Canada and the United States. Barbecues, fishing, swimming, and pulling up on the strip to open the trunk and mingle, all the regular activities of the Isle. Owned and operated by the city of Detroit, Belle Isle is managed as a state park by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources through a 30-year lease initiated in 2013. It was previously a city park. Belle Isle Park is the largest city-owned island park in the United States, and Belle Isle is the third largest island in the Detroit River, after Grosse Isle and Fighting Island. It is connected to the mainland Detroit by the MacArthur Bridge. In 1913, Annunciation erected its own building at 660 Macomb Street and bought more land just to the east, where it built a Greek parochial school a year later. The school operated until 1931. In 1949, the church was renamed the Central Greek Orthodox Church Evangelismos, a Greek name derived from the Annunciation of the Virgin Mary. Meanwhile, part of the parish spun off and formed Assumption Greek Orthodox Church on the east side in 1930. The St. Mary Roman Catholic Church, formerly the Church of the Immaculate Consumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, is the third oldest Roman Catholic parish in Detroit, Michigan. Designed by German-born Peter Derricks and built for the formerly ethnic German parish of the 19th century, it is located at 646 Monroe Street in what is now considered the heart of Greektown Historic District in downtown Detroit. It is often called Old St. Mary's Church to avoid confusion with other St. Mary's parishes in the Redford neighborhood of Detroit or in nearby Royal Oak, Monroe, or Wayne. St. Andrew's Hall is a concert venue located in Detroit, Michigan, which was formerly the meeting place for the St. Andrew's Society of Detroit. The Shelter, most of you would know that from the movie 8 Mile, lies underneath St. Andrew's Hall and hosts various live music acts and DJs. It is known for being one of the first stages on which Eminem performed in. Fun fact, it's also one of the first stages I performed in when I lived in Detroit still. Shout out to St. Andrews. The Fox Theater is a performing arts center located at 2211 Woodward Avenue in downtown Detroit, near the Grand Circus Park Historic District. Opened in 1928 as a flagship movie palace in the Fox Theater chain, it was at over 5,000 seats, the largest theater in the city. Designed by theater architect C. Howard Crane, it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1985. The Detroit Opera House is an ornate opera house located at 1526 Broadway Street in downtown Detroit, Michigan, within the Grand Circus Park Historic District. The 2,700 seat venue is the home of productions of the Detroit Opera and a variety of other events. The theater was originally designed by C. Howard Crane, who created other prominent theaters in Detroit, including the Fillmore Detroit, the Fox Theater, which we just spoke about, and the Detroit Symphony Orchestra's Orchestra Hall. It opened on January 22nd, 1922. Michigan Central Station just recently reopened. It was originally built for the Michigan Central Railroad. It replaced the original depot in downtown Detroit, which was shuttered after a major fire on December 26, 1913, forcing the still unfinished station into early service. Formally dedicated on January 4, 1914, the station remained open for business until the cessation of Amtrak service on January 6, 1988. The station building consists of a train depot and an office tower with 13 stories, 2 mezzanine levels, and a roof height of 230 feet. The Beaux Arts style architecture was designed by architects who had previously worked together on Grand Central Terminal in New York, and it was one of the tallest rail stations in the world at the time of its construction. Here we have the Mayor's Mansion, which is basically the White House for the mayor of Detroit. And if you go against his squad, aka the Detroit Police, you might have to come here. The Wayne County Building is a monumental government structure located at 600 Randolph Street in Detroit, Michigan. It formerly contained the Wayne County Administrative Offices, now located in the Guardian Building at 500 Griswold Street, and its courthouse. As Wayne County Courthouse, it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1975. When it was completed in 1902, it was regarded as one of the most sumptuous buildings in Michigan. I definitely want to take the time to thank everybody who watched this documentary. Thank you for coming to my hometown, Detroit, with me. And hopefully I was able to showcase the good, the bad, the beautiful, and the ugly. Detroit isn't just one thing. It's a beautiful city. It can be a scary place too, but one thing I am happy to say is in the 12 years that I've been gone, every time I come back, there's a lot of improvement, and I can't wait to see what the next 10 years of Detroit looks like. Until next time, this is Shane G. This is the Ethos Media Network. Peace.